Andre, I wanted to ask you now that we're on the verge of this new season, obviously in the bubble, there were priorities. There was a platform. There was Black Lives Matter on the court. If I remember right, you had group economics on the back of your jersey. How do you want the players, the league, the coaches to continue the messaging this season? How do you want it to remain a priority now that we're not all going to be in that one place where it was maybe a little bit easier to prioritize? How do you anticipate all that going forward? How do you want to see it happen going forward?
I just think it has to be a conscious effort on every side. You saw that a lot with a lot of corporations um, throughout that time. Trying to appease to their customers and you know making it a part of their brand as to what equality meant to them. And a big part of that is for them to have follow through on it. So it's up to the league, up to the players continue. I think the players will always continue to voice their opinions. Will always speak on it, but all the corporations, the large ones, large, medium, and small, have to continue throughout different phases to make sure we're holding those in the position of power who make the decisions to make sure we hold them accountable, not just with words, but with actions, and making sure that we're continuing to hit on those points to make sure that we try to get this thing right.
You feel the efforts in the bubble. I mean, I don't know how you would define success, but do you think what players were able to accomplish in there on this topic, on this this quest for racial equality to end police brutality and all these things, would you determine it to be a success, or how do you sort of define that?
Well, for that phase, I feel like yes, it was. We had some success for that phase, but it can't be something that was for a 3-month period. We have to continue to make sure that we're keeping our focus and keeping our eye on the prize, as some would say. And I feel like with our efforts with the voting was huge. I think that kind of flies under the radar a little bit, but a lot of the players, the majority of the eyes on certain players, they were voicing their opinions, and they were making sure that they used their platform to get everyone involved with the voting initiative that we had. And then, as with the Miami Heat, what we've been trying to do with, the arena, or we had to go to another location that could, be set up as a voter registration, or where voting polls can be set up. There were tremendous efforts being made on all fronts with a lot of teams in the league, and set up that social justice initiative we did with the ownership group, the stakeholder group. Is a big thing that we're in the infancy stages of that, and we got to continue to mature that, make sure that grows out the right way, and we're making the right efforts. And it's not something, like I said before, that's going to for that moment, and we're appeasing the people to say we're on a certain side. Is just about the the human issue and making sure that we're going forward with it.
Finally, Andre, just one more. There is still one election left. There is the 2 Senate races in Georgia that will determine which party has control of the Senate. Do you anticipate the NBA and the players, especially, I mean, I know Lloyd Pierce has been very involved. Do you anticipate players to continue using their voice going into that very critical election in January as well? Thanks again.
Thank you. Well, I think it's just about making sure everyone gets out and vote. It's not about, trying to say, what your political stance is, or, who you want to vote for, who you believe in. It's just all about, we have the majority of players in this league are African Americans, and we all know how voter suppression is a real thing that's been used against us to keep us away from the voting polls. So we want to make sure everyone goes out and continues to vote, and making sure that it's just not every 4 years, but then how do you get more involved, how you get more information on voting in those elections that are every 2 years, and making sure that you're up to date on information we need there. I mean, even myself, I'm still behind on it and got to continue to learn more. So we just continue to spread that message and make sure that, and we're just trying to help as much as we can and do our part.
All right, next we have Colby Price with a Sun Sentinel.
Hey, Andre, how's it going?
Good. How you doing, Colby?
Doing well. Thanks for our first time meeting, so good to meet you through Zoom. Wanted to touch on, you've been through quick turnarounds, obviously with championship runs, but this is, I would imagine, the quickest turnaround you have going from a season to season. For you, how do you change your approach, or do you change your approach for this training camp?
Yeah, just trying to make sure I'm getting smart work in. You know, you can work hard, but if you're not working smart, it can work against you sometimes. So for me, it's just being very smart about it, making sure that I'm staying sharp in certain areas, uh, making sure I'm still pushing myself enough, but I'm trying to be smart about it. Today was a good day. Felt really good. I dunked like 3 or 4 times, so surprised myself a little bit. And it's the first time really getting up and down the court, and felt fine. It was really good energy. So just taking it day by day, making sure being smart off the court. Uh, being able to help the brain be free, especially with everything that's going on in the world, and then having the right type of outlook on things, and really being thankful, and really, looking at it as, this is, we're all being blessed to have, the jobs that we have, been able to go out and perform it at this level, and just trying to bring, good energy, good vibes every day when I'm at work.
And as both a vet and the VP of the Players Union, what I guess will be a major key with these protocols in place with the COVID pandemic going on, and just what do you tell some of the young guys about who may not know as much as you do about the protocols?
Yeah, I mean, it's like what 100 some pages. So even I don't have, even I don't know everything, or something may slip my mind in terms of everything that they're asking for. But just generally being smart about everything that you're doing. Try to always have a mask on. There's still a lot of unknowns out there, and I'm pretty, you know, informed on the information that I try to find to make sure I'm doing the right things, doing the smart things, and you know, uh, you know, you just don't want guys being in vulnerable positions to uh, make other guys at risk. So you just try to be smart about it. Try to just handle your business and look at it like that. I'm at a business, but making sure some guys get outside, get some fresh air at the same time. Just be really smart about it. And I think the NBA is trying to do a good job of not having it like a bubble or restriction, in terms of how we move around and how we move about, but at the same time, just try to be smart and responsible about it.
All right, next we have Anthony Chang with the Miami Herald.
Hey Andre, good to see you. With the quick turnaround, like Kobe said, and so many new faces, so many of the same faces coming back. Did today feel like a little bit like a continuation just from 7 weeks ago? And if so, how do you think that will help this
Yeah,
season?
yeah. It definitely feel like continuation. Usually, I know all the play calls, so I know what we call them, but I might need to refresh from time to time or walk through something. But today, it just felt like, yeah, we just picked back up. I remember running 5-on-0 offensive drill, and I called like 4 different plays, and right after another, as we were running the plays, and last season I wasn't able to do that. I remember all the plays, but I couldn't call them off the top of my head in the middle of just boom, 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 running quickly. But today I did, so I was like, wow, it's just you just pick up where you left off. So I think it's giving me a head start. Other guys as well, good good connections. I saw Duncan and Kelly. They had a great two-man game action they had going on. That was about 6 seconds, but it was about 5 or 6 passes that happened in that. It just looked beautiful. So, it just shows we're ahead in that sense. Uh, and just talking about being smart with how we're working at the same time. We had a short break, so I think Spo and the team have all talked about how can we, get our work in like we do the Miami Heat way, but at the same time, being very strategic about it because 7 weeks wasn't much to recover. But I feel like we're moving in the right direction, knowing when to ramp it up, and then also knowing making sure that everyone's protected.
And one more for me. You've been on teams before with a lot of guys returning. For a team like the one you're on now, what's most important to accomplish in the preseason? In one way, you're not really introducing too many new guys. You have a lot of the same guys back. What's most important to accomplish, you think, during these next few weeks?
I just think making sure that we're working in the same direction, whether it be offensively or defensively, and making sure we're all on one accord. Defense is all about that, that chain. Everyone's moving in that tight rope. You don't want to get too loose, and then you don't want to pull one side be pulling too much. It's like a chain reaction, making sure we're all being proactive. And then offensively, it's kind of the same things, depending on the action that's being made, knowing the backside, who goes where, who cuts when, knowing when to slide in certain slots. And just we should be there quicker than other teams. And that's what I want to see. And, just having that good mindset. We got a hungry squad, so I'm not worried about guys being too relaxed. But just making sure that we're crisp, we're very detail oriented and just make sure, Bam's doing a great job being a leader, and that, that's something that's natural to him. So making sure every practice, we getting 1% better, or, if it's more, then even better.
All right, next we have Cooper Moorhead with Heat.com.
Hey, Andre, it's good to see you. With the way the schedule looks like, at least for the first half, not as many back-to-backs, but you're playing almost every other day for 3 months, basically. How is that going to change your approach to the season? And presumably there's going to be a real lack of practice time during this season. How's that going to affect your day-to-day approach?
I don't think it affects it too much. You just got to, take the games as they come. Just understand that we're in unique times, and you just try to make the best of it. You smile through it all, enjoy it all, understanding the ups and downs. You just got to weather the storms through the downs, and then, in the highs, just take them humbly. And I think we got a lot of depth, so we got a lot of guys we can use. And, we showed it last year, next guy being ready if they have the opportunity to go out there and show what they can do, and they can just be thrown right in and, not missing a beat. So, we got a lot of depth. I'm excited to see a couple guys, KZ, really look forward to seeing him and his progression coming out of his rookie year, and, how much better Duncan has gotten. Yeah, I see that, Duncan Robinson as well, Kendrick Nunn. We got some young guys that, they're on that points of their careers where they're trying to make leaps and bounds every single year. So we got some hungry guys, and then the vets guys just wanting to prove that we can maintain and we can still do what we can do at a old age. I think I'm the only one that can say that, me and you, D.
All right, next we have Tim Reynolds again. Go ahead. Andre,
as you've been talking, Portland just announced that they have an outbreak and have closed their facility. Is this going to be the way of the world in 2020, 2021 for the NBA? I mean, how hopeful are you that even with that 659 million page document that you haven't finished getting through yet, how hopeful are you that we're going to be able to get through this?
Well, I mean, it's every league is dealing with it differently, and then there's pros and cons to how each league can deal with it. Football is kind of can be in vulnerable positions with how they deal with it, but can be more vulnerable in certain areas in terms of, the amount of bodies that we have, and we're so close to each other. 5-6 guys out on one team is, that can be, murky waters. And then we play so many games, whereas football is one game a week, so you can kind of delay a game a little bit. But with us, you're taking, looking at 4 or 5 games, and it's hard to make those up. So it's just, it's just something you got to deal with and hope for the best, but prepare for the worst, and see what happens from there.
Thanks again, man.
All right, next we have Christos Saltas with SDNA Greece. Go ahead.
Hello, Andre. I have 2 questions for you. The first one is year 16 as a pro, year 16 in the league for you. What it mean for you, this situation, and what were the biggest lessons through the years?
Am I 16 or 17?
You're starting from 2004, right?
I think I'm on 17. How many years I've been in the league? I think I'm on 17.
Year 7.
Yeah, I'm on 17. The numbers started adding up. But I think you just gotta have the right outlook. I think 7 weeks was good for me to, just take a breath of fresh air. Even though it wasn't much, I don't think I even, I got a little bit of fresh air. Maybe one weekend, I was able to relax. But just very gracious, and just trying to build up those positive energy. Like you said, it's a lot going on, a lot to for the mind to kind of. It's like a little bit of a maze. And I think you just try to embrace it all, try to make the most of it, try to help the young guys being a leader, being a mentor, and just being a solid player, coming in to help the team win whenever I'm needed in whatever fashion, and just embracing it.
And the second question is about Bam Adebayo. He recently signed a supermax extension. You leave him when you sign with the Heat. What are the aspects of his game on and off the court that made him so special? And did you expect to sign a supermax?
Yeah. I used to joke with him a lot about it. I can hopefully get a loan from him one day. Not that I need it, but if I don't bring any cash, and I might need a burger or something, or not a vegan burger or plant-based burger, he would give me a couple of dollars so I can eat, so I can lean on him now. That's my go-to guy. But I always seen greatness in him, from his maturity at such a young age to his skill set, very high IQ. He can do a lot of great things at his position. You don't see many guys at his height, size can do, being able to handle the ball, to pass the ball. And I think there's some things that he's going to continue to develop that people haven't seen yet, that I've seen glimpses of, and really excited for him. Got a very humble guy, who really wants to be great and works at it, really works at it. And it shows on and off the floor, who he is as a person, not looking to be something else. He embraces who he is, which is a beautiful thing. And just really excited for him.